Hey guys, we're here at the Missouri State Penitentiary. It's the maximum security prison that they were using up until the early 2000s. I think about 2005 is when they shut it down. You might have also heard it referred to as the bloodiest 46 acres in America. Anyways, I'm here today to spin a little yarn on the dough deck from a bat I prepared just a few minutes ago, and hopefully the wind won't blow us around too much. And yeah, I don't know how many of you know, but I make my own spinning wheel, and I started on that project because my niece learned to spin. She was really kind of good at spinning when she was just like 12 years old, and we couldn't afford to give her a spinning wheel, so we kind of wanted to make her something that she could start with, and it really kind of took off from there. But I tried to get her on the show today, and it didn't work out because now she's a teenager and doesn't have time for stuff like this, but hopefully we'll have her before long, and you guys can see her spin and maybe get to hear her story a bit. I do try to take her to some fiber festivals a couple times a year and get her to spin with me and stuff. She does like it, but during the school year, there are a lot of social activities and whatnot, especially on the weekend when I'm able to get outside during the day. Her life's quite a bit more busy. It's a nice day for this, though. It's really gotten pretty warm in the last couple of days this week. When I say warm, I don't mean it's actually warm. I mean above freezing enough that it's pleasant outside. I apologize if my vest is making noise on the mic. Hopefully that's not the case, but I do not normally spin left-handed, so we'll see how well this works out, but I guess you got an example of that. Let's go ahead and try to blend this. Yeah, now not only does the cold kind of wreak havoc on spinning wheels, but the wind certainly messes with your fiber enough that it makes it difficult to have a carefree spinning session outside, but I really prefer to spin outside whenever the opportunity arises. The act itself is so close to nature that it helps me not to be cooped up in a living room or a den or study. Now, I did not think that this wool was all that nice. The sheep that it came off of had a huge coat. I don't know if they weren't sheared for a year or if they really just had a high output, but they had a lot of wool in this one fleece, And even after I washed it, although it felt nice, it didn't look like it was in that good a shape. But it really came alive after I pick and carded it. And I'm surprised that it's so nice to spin, but it is. Which is a problem because I'd kind of been saving it as my junk fleece and using other fleeces for my nice fleece, and now I'm wondering how much stuff I had done with wool that wasn't as nice as this. I like bad wool as much as good wool, but I try to prioritize what I use it for. So if I have wool that spins easy but is kind of harsh to the touch, I really like using that wool and spinning for enjoyment and things like that, but I kind of try to keep it earmarked for projects like, I don't know, if you were going to do a rug or something of that nature, or maybe a coat instead of a sweater. But then when I find the softer stuff, I want to kind of keep it earmarked for baby hats and sweaters, or maybe cowls. They do haunted tours at this prison on the weekends too. I didn't know if they would be here tonight or not, but they kind of lock you in there with the lights off all night, and you get to maybe wander around a bit. I know that there's tour guides and stuff, but I mean, you camp out pretty much the whole night, so I've heard it's pretty cool. But I went into the prison before it closed, and I have been back for a tour since it closed, and that place is so creepy. I can't imagine coming at night, like, in order to be scared, because there are parts of it. It's, I think, the only prison that had a double gas chamber. There were a couple people who kidnapped, killed a girl in Kansas City, and they wanted to be executed together, so they built a double gas chamber so that they could sit side by side while being executed. And I've sat in that gas chamber. Because you can just go in and sit down in the chair. I brought a couple bats, thinking that I wanted to be sure to have enough so that I didn't run out while I was filming, but I really wonder if I'm going to get through this one bat. And it's probably less than an ounce, but this is going so fast, and the wool is so light that it's really going to be like a lofty ball of yarn. So even though it's only going to be 1 ounce, it's going to have quite a bit of yardage. You can't see it, but I'm standing in front of the federal courthouse as well, which is built across the street from the prison, but I might film in front of it during another episode because it's really nice and it's kind of central to my neighborhood, so I should be able to get down here one evening, shoot a video without being away from the family for too long. I did think most people would like the prison before the courthouse, though. Well, it's nice to see this many breaks while spinning, because it gives me a chance to do a whole lot of joins and maybe inspire confidence in some of you out there who might be a little afraid of having your drafting break. I know when I was using a flyer wheel, I hated to have my roving break, because then you've got to fish it out of the bobbin and through the orifice. You got to hook it up and then hope you can get a good enough join on it that it won't break again. And it was a good ordeal. All right, we're making pretty good progress here, but I do want to keep these videos kind of short, so I think I'm going to pull off just a little more out of this bat, and maybe that'll be our last go at it. The name of the sheep was Maris. I know that much. I don't know what breed she was. I try to stay away from breed specification because I kind of want to get my hands into everything, and I'm afraid that if I grow to love a certain type of wool, that I might be hesitant to take, fiber from other animals, which I don't really want to do. I kind of want to dabble in all of it. But I can tell you that this is nice stuff. Not having specific desires for breeds is kind of handy too when you go to buy wool, because a lot of wool owners that or a lot of wool raisers that are raising sheep for meat or for whatnot don't always either know what the breed is or really understand the cross. So that's a barrier you're always coming up against if you're looking for a certain kind of sheep to get fleece from. But it's really nice if you can just go out and touch the sheep, see if you like the wool, and then buy a fleece off of them and not have to worry about what their mom was and what their dad was. I think that's because I consider myself a spinner before a knitter. And, if I was a knitter first, I would really want to kind of stick to breeds, because I would want to be producing a medium, a yarn that would give me the qualities I was wanting in a finished garment. And in that case, you know, I'd kind of want to know, like, what size yarn am I going to want? If I'm going to want a worsted weight yarn, am I going to want it lofty or, you know, kind of worsted spun? Then I would want to know, you know, what kind of staple length I'm going to want for spinning worsted, if I want worsted instead of woolen. And then I want to know, you know, like how insulative I want it to be and things of that nature. Of course, I have the pleasure of not having to worry as much about that because I buy a lot of wool. I spend a lot of wool, and then I have a good stash of hand spun to draw from when I go to do a project. So I don't really have to gear my spinning as much towards my knitting because I have such a wide array of wool and yarn when I go to do a project, where most people don't have that kind of time and effort to build that library. So if they're going to eke away enough time to knit a sweater, they're not going to have as much time for spinning. And if they're not going to have as much time for spinning, they got to kind of concentrate on what fiber they're farming to, you know, get to that yarn that they need for their project. So I certainly understand people being hung up on breeds, but I really like not having to worry about it myself. Okay, I lied. We're losing the sun, but I do think I want to tear off one more strip and have a go because I've really been enjoying this, and I'm probably done spinning for today after I turn the camera off, so I kind of want to keep it going as long as I can. I'll tell you, one of the reasons it's been breaking so much is I've been using my high ratio spindles this week, and now I'm back to my medium, you know, my 8-to-1 spindle ratio. So I'm putting a lot less twist in this fiber just because I'm used to treadling less to get that twist in there and then winding on, which is fine with me. I like lofty yarn, so I like kind of under twisted singles that then are stabilized by plying, but that will result in more breaks if you're not careful as you're spinning. And like I said, it's not really a problem because it's easy enough to fix a break. It's not something that you should worry about. But it's not the wool, because I don't usually have breaks while shooting these videos. So, and this is the first time I'm doing the wool, so I didn't want you to think that there was something brittle or hard to spin about the wool. It's just kind of not adding very much twist at the moment. I don't know if you can see right down over the hill, but I mean, I know you can't see over the hill, but I don't know if you can see the river from here. There's river and train tracks, and right now there's a train going by, so it's kind of loud to me, but I doubt you guys can hear it over the mic. It looks like we ended up having just enough light to get this video done, which is nice, without having, you know, too much light really shining on the building and making the video kind of overexposed. So I'm glad about that. But we are going to have to wrap it up before we get into the hazy blue recording period of dusk filming. think that just about does it. We're almost there. Now I gotta find something to do with this yarn. I'll probably be spinning the same fiber on the next episode, but after I get a couple cops full, I will apply it together and then have to figure out what I can do with it. I'll probably knit it. I don't crochet that much, but after I get it knit up, I'll post a picture on one of the upcoming episodes and kind of let you see what I've done with it. All right, well, thank you for spinning, and have a good winter.